Mo's made a beat again.
Well, I mean, you can hear me though. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome in. Yeah, there we go. Birds of the Feather. Live reaction from Michael Penix's first NFL start and first NFL win against the New York Giants. Um, bro, let's get into it because we didn't have a pod this week, y'all. That's all on me. I scheduling, life. But I think one of the things that we both talked about we wanted to see was Penix had control of the offense. The offense was better, and the team come out and show that they had rallied behind a young QB. Especially with all the noise this week, with a lot of like the player sound bites from Kirk's benching. Um, I just think overall the team did show that they gave a damn about who was starting at QB,
for the
right?
most part.
The def yeah, the defense really put us on their back today. And this is gonna be an unpopular opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out here early, and then expound upon it later. But like, I didn't feel like the offense was that much different today.
Oh no, it was definitely
I just
different.
I just feel like we were playing with the lead most of the
No,
game.
okay. What was different is the amount of play action. We didn't run no naked bootlegs. We ran that quite a few.
That's true. I give you that.
The execution of the offense, like given it wasn't pretty, well, hell, it wasn't ugly either. Because like he had 9 incompletions, 5 of those were drops.
Yeah, and you weren't trying to shoot no bail, and I get it. Everybody's a pro, but I went back and looked at Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and their quotes when like catching from Tua because he's like the only left hander we really got right now, and both of them talked about exactly what I was telling you about. So like some of y'all play receiver, tight end, whatever. If you catch from a right-handed person, it looks like the ball is coming towards you, right? You look the ball into your hands. When you're catching from a lefty, it looks like the ball is going away from you, and that sounds weird. But like if you watch it, it looks like that rotation on the ball is weird. And if you think back to like a lot of Michael Vick's wide receivers, Roddy White, who struggled with drops early when he came in. Yeah, he took off with Matt, but like that was one of his things about Mike.
No,
And so I
well,
just think
Mike.
like
No, the biggest thing about Mike is Mike didn't have no touch. Everything was a fastball on Mike.
everything was fast, and it looks like Penix is like he's slinging
No,
that
he's
thing,
slinging it, but
boy.
he has touch too.
So like I definitely understand like the rotation being weird. At the end of the day, you're a pro.
I mean,
You know
they
what I'm saying?
didn't
At the
drop
end,
none after. Well, I mean, Drake had one, but it was that was. That, I'm a charge it to good defense.
yeah,
I still
the
think I
touchdown
still
drop.
think he could have came down with it, but I'm gonna give the defense some credit there. But like the offense is like and Penix, like he didn't really run, but he's mobile. He's definitely mobile.
More, much more mobile. Yeah,
Like yeah, you definitely and like because I went back and did like some deep dive on Penix's stats and all that, and like they said one thing the Falcons said about Penix was he don't take sacks. He doesn't take sacks. So I wanted to look how many sacks he actually been sacked. How many times you think he's been sacked in all 6 years of his college career?
he was in college for six
Yeah,
years, 7 years.
6 years. He probably played roughly about maybe like 4.5 years
Four,
of actual snaps though.
10 game. I say 35.
32. That's less than a sack a game.
That's really really good. Cause what four? That's 30. What's that? 48 games, and then
No,
bowl games is like 50.
it's yeah. So yeah, something like yeah. So
Like
probably like
52 to
50, probably
56.
like 50, close to 50 games,
Woo,
and he's only been sacked
30 30.
32 times.
I saw it today with the one where guy had him dead to rights and spun him around, and he was able to get the ball out into the
Yeah,
flat
Kirk would
very
have been
early.
sacked
Kirk would have been sacked.
or
Kirk would
fumbled.
have been sacked. But on the same token, like we can't praise it with Penix and get mad at it with Levis. You know what I'm saying? Because like he did throw the ball while spinning around.
No, but he actually had his
He
eyes on the dude.
he did. I just and maybe I'm scarred. You know what I'm saying? I'm tempering my
Hey, look, I ain't got nothing to complain about as long as it works.
yeah. And to be fair, for me, like I said, this is the team that I'm okay with making the playoffs. With Kirk, how we were winning, what the prospects look like, I was like, bro, if we lose out the next 2-3 games, it don't make a difference to me. Watching Penix today, I would be fine if this team made it into the 7th spot, got blasted by the Eagles in the first
Just more
round.
experience for
Hey,
Penix.
yeah, that's part of the maturation.
But
You know what I'm saying?
one thing I like,
If
he didn't look like a rookie.
he's old, man, and it showed. It showed.
Because it's like he looking off
He
coverages and all of this. I'm like,
yeah, yeah, and that's why, like I said, I may just be jilted. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I could just be expectations, but I try not to get too excited. But
man,
he
look,
he
excitement through the roof.
he
The
looked a
fan
little,
base is exciting, and it's like it annoys me, right? Because through what 14 games, we didn't have no picks off of anyone's hands.
yeah. They're all tip drills.
Yeah, no,
I'm thinking back.
no, yeah, none of the picks were tipped. Kirk, it was just Kirk might have made it or whatever, but none of the picks were tipped. Pick,
You're talking offensively. You're talking
yeah,
offensively. Yo,
yeah.
I got you.
So Penix, Penix. I don't think Penix had an actual bad pass. Like probably the worst one was that 4th and 2, or 3rd and 2, the Drake. But I mean, that's probably that's probably just like they'll get there. They'll get there. That's the first game. They'll get there. But he played a really clean game.
What what did what did London end with 70 to 75 yards? Because he was at like 58.
I think he might have
He was at like
stayed.
five.
He might have got like 6. He might be like around 65, maybe 70. But I mean, yeah,
He was clearly his number one target today. I think
no,
Mooney,
Mooney had more catches and targets.
I Mooney flashed, but like when I'm saying number one target, I'm saying more so like the trust passes. He was giving those to London today. He fitted into some tight
He did it to
coverages to
Mooney
London.
too. Mooney got the most targets,
Hey, look, I really like him going ahead and getting that chemistry with London,
but
right?
Mooney had the most targets. Like
Hey, look, you gonna go back and look. Yeah, I know
I
you gonna go
watched
back
this.
and
I
look.
watched. I watched the game. Drake didn't
Look,
really get
look.
going to the second quarter. Mooney was the one that was hitting them 15, 15, 10, 15. Mooney had like 80 yards,
But how many catches Mooney had?
like 5 or 6.
That's what I'm saying. London was at 5 and 58 last time I
And
checked.
Mooney still had more catches than him.
Yeah. All right. I really enjoyed the chemistry with London. I really enjoyed seeing that today. Bijan is just he's special. Like I don't think enough can be said about how he's stabilizing the team. Um, last time me and you got on, we talked about like Algiers' reduced role. I wish I would have seen him more today, especially like when the game wasn't really in balance today. Also, who was that third running
Yeah,
back?
they both had 5 catches.
They both had five.
Mooney had 5 for 82. Drake had 5 for 59.
Now I knew he was at 58, 59. I thought he got another one.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, like I said, it looked like and when I'm thinking about it, Mooney had a drop, London had a drop on that first drive.
Mm-mm.
So those are both targets. And then I know London had a
No,
drop in
Mooney
the
didn't
end
have a
zone.
drop. It was Ray Ray.
On that bootleg
Yeah, that was
action,
Ray
that was
Ray.
Ray Ray? Okay. I thought that was Mooney. So I know London had a drop on the first drive. Now I know London had quote unquote drop. It'll go down as a drop in the end zone, but that was
Yeah,
really like a
London technically had 2 drops, and then Mooney had one. I mean, not Mooney. Ray Ray had one. Um, there was 2 more. Maybe he did have one, but on that first drive, the first pass was a drop by Ray Ray. I don't remember the other ones, but yeah,
I don't know. Like you was like Mooney had more targets. I was like, I don't think
he
so,
did have more
but
targets. He did have more targets than Drake.
we just counted off 7 targets for Drake.
And Mooney had more. Everything didn't
All
go his
right,
way, but Mooney definitely got the ball more. Well,
all right. When I look at it, I'm like, I don't I don't think that we showed that we're just going to be this high flying above the wall offense today.
I mean, first start, but
Um,
the potential there.
the potential
Once that
does
chemistry there,
the, the potential does look good. Now defensively, Jimmy Lake has quieted all the
just
noise
about
over
me.
this past
16 sacks in 3 games. These are 3 or
yeah.
4.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
3
So
since the Bible.
so
Yeah.
that's insane because like before the Bobby, we had 10 sacks in like 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got 26. We have doubled in doubled and then some in 3 games.
It it's amazing how much they were able to just get it together on the defensive end. And then I think the best part about it, capitalizing on bad quarterbacks. Like or just capitalizing on bad mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a time, and that time was last week, where very actually a bad quarterback could beat this team. Or at least be in a position to. Because like, we called Ritter average all of last year. But he's average to bad. Like he's a third stringer. Drew Lock is a second stringer, could be was a third stringer on his team, but he's a
No,
second
he was
stringer.
always
He's
the second
starting.
stringer.
Yeah, I mean, they started
No,
DeVito,
but he was the second stringer the whole time. I don't know why. Cause even he was confused why they started DeVito because he was the second stringer the whole time.
which I get, but still, second stringer. Point remains, right? He's second stringer. Like, there was never a point this game where we were in jeopardy. Like, since Jesse's pick six, it was just an avalanche. And it was good. It was fun to watch. Right? Like, yeah, the end of the game wasn't as appealing because it wasn't in question at all. But like they got rolling and they stayed
Now
rolling.
look, I'm content. He got over 200. I ain't got no complaint. I just want him to get over 200 yards.
And that's the crazy part, bro. I was sitting there, I was texting you, and I was like, because at halftime we were like, man, offense look pretty decent or whatever, and I was like, bro, he's at 50% in less than 100 yards, and people are like, this offense looks better, and that's crazy, but
Because it's easier to stomach that 50% because when you like, because if you just box score watching, you like, man, he ain't doing like. But if you watching the game, oh no, he was on point.
yeah, y'all had like at that point in time, I think y'all had like 3 drops, you know what I'm saying, and
And
then
Pitts.
and yeah, he had a pick. And okay, yeah, let's get to that because we about halfway through.
I
So
can't
I
defend
wanted
Pitts
to
no
get to
more. I can't do it.
that. Hey, cause I'm finna come on here on your ass with it. But you know,
I was forgiving of when Pitts had that fumble versus Tampa Bay. I was like, oh, it's a one time thing. And this is the first time Pitts did this, but come on, dog.
he never tucked the ball. He never tucked the
Like
ball
you
when he
went
brought it
trash
back
it,
in.
tuck it.
So I thought I was like, he caught the ball, he went to
That should have been
turn,
a
the defender
fumble.
popped. Yeah, the defender popped it out. No, he never tucked the ball as he was turning. He just lost it. He basically threw it to the defender, bro. And prior to that, the Giants had 2 interceptions on the season. So it's not like this. It's not like this defense was really creating turnovers, bro. You gifted them one, dog. And thankfully, Judon was able to get a pick six coming back from
Judon had a good game.
half. Yeah, Judon had a sack, had a pick six, but like Judon was able to get that pick six or whatever, that still evened out. You know what I'm saying? Because that drive, Pitts really let up at least 3 points there, right? You were able to get 7 on the back and you were straight. But had the Giants come out and scored on that drive, like it would have really put you in a bad, not a bad position, but like a really disadvantageous position when in reality your offense had been playing well. There's his contract, right? Because they picked up the 5th year option. His contract is looking like I think he's gonna make roughly 10 next year, 10 and some change.
Damn.
You went blank.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. I think he's gonna make 10 and some change next year. And
I think he's gonna get
with the
traded.
tight with the tight end market, right? With the tight end market, the contract I would have wanted him to sign coming into the season was for about 48 to 52. There is no way after this season you can sign him to that contract.
Yeah, you could, but it just won't be with us.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can't. You can't. Like the production he's giving you, you can get from a 3rd or 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Now, now, granted, we do not have a bunch of picks this year, which is why I think we're prime candidates to move down. We also are going to take a massive cap hit. I want to touch
Okay.
on that.
Okay. So here's the kid. I don't look at that as a negative because they're going to use a June 1st destination, right? So it's going to be 40 this year, 25 the following year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really. It's not going to be as big of an issue as people make it out to be because it's basically going to be like we're just paying Kirk not to be here. We, whether Kirk was cut or not, we weren't going to have that 40 anyway. So that's a non-issue for me.
So here's how I feel like it impacts us in free agency because I wanted to get to this.
I mean,
I
look,
still got time.
we can get a little bullshit quarterback for like $5 million or so backup, and but I don't think that it's going to affect us as much as people may think it does because if Kirk was here, like it is what it is. You still would have had. You still would
So
have had the whether Kirk's here or not. It doesn't really impact the free agency. Besides the fact you might have to spend like a couple million on a backup quarterback. Other than that, nothing changes.
so if you look at our quarterback room or like what is designated as quarterback salary, right? We're basically paying for like a Mahomes or like a Jalen Hurts. We're paying for that sort of contract. If you factor in like everybody in the room, right? When Kirk first signed, before we ever had Penix, me and you looked at the contract and was like, "Oh, your 3rd year, you're out." We both said
Yeah,
that. So like the 25 mil on the 3rd year, I feel like was solidified the second that they drafted Penix. Like they budgeted that in, right? Is that we're gonna take a now granted, had we kept him all through next year, it would have been I think it would have been
we
20
we we,
million on
we,
the third year.
we're actually saving 10 mil on the back end by cutting them.
Yeah. But the 10 mil, we not worried about that. I'm just saying on the 3rd year, I
We're
think it
saving
would have
10
been
mil on the 3rd year by cutting him.
so it would have been
Yeah,
35.
yeah, because it's a 10, he would have got a 10 he would have got a $10 million bonus if he would have made it past the 16th of what May March. He would have got a 10 million he would have
So
got a $10 million roster bonus. So we're saving 10 mil.
so you're budgeting that in the second you draft Penix because you're not going to sit him for three
Yeah,
years. Just because like how old he was, you weren't going to sit him for 3 years. Yes, you're saving that on the back end. To be honest, when you look at the raw numbers of it, we are giving through the next 3 years, we're budgeting on average 50 million to the quarterback position. If Penix works out, if Penix works out, that is the contract that you're going to have him on moving forward.
yeah.
55 to 60 million dollars. Like when Penix is up to sign, and that's assuming that the NFL doesn't do something like have a QB salary cap or all that other stuff they're talking about, right? This team is built as though you're paying a star quarterback. If Penix works out, you're going to be allocating the exact same amount of dollars to the quarterback position. Like the only difference right now is that it's scheduled between like Kirk's taking the lion's share of it. But like if you look at Penix's actual numbers of what he's earning, you add up the whole quarterback room. It is comparable to every other star quarterback room in the league. So if Penix works out, you're just paying him as though he would be a
I
star
mean, it
quarterback.
is, but
You
look,
don't get
them
the,
numbers weren't going to change anyway. The minute they sign picks, the numbers weren't going to change. The numbers will solidify. So it is what it is.
that's the only difference is that you don't get the huge benefit of a rookie
I
contract.
mean, you were never going to get that when you drafted them. So there ain't no point in
And
hashing that out. You were never getting it.
and that's what I feel like was missed in the conversation where was missed a lot in the conversation. Oh, we look so inept. We're taking this huge draft hit or whatnot. When you drafted Penix, there were certain concessions and decisions that you made,
Yeah, you were like,
and
well, oh well, yeah,
part of that was that you weren't going to get to enjoy the rookie contract. That's part of the decision that you made because even if everything had worked perfectly with Kirk, and you had him start for 2 years,
financial situation don't change.
you were you were going to start Penix the third year. You were gonna take a cap hit, right? And if he was good, you were gonna make a decision on him at the end of that year, which which would have prorated the fifth year and signed him to a big contract. So like the only thing this did was speed up the timeline. That's the only thing this did.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Speed.
Rip the band-aid off and just make y'all moves accordingly. But it don't really like affect free agency or anything, in my opinion. I mean, you might have to spend a couple million on a backup, but I don't think it
No,
greatly affects anything
no, I think overall the quarterback number is going to stay pretty much the same. I'll delve into the salary cap as we get closer to the offseason. But
because
initially,
there's gonna be
what I
cuts.
was going to,
Because
huh?
there's gonna be cuts. There's gonna be restructures. Like people are saying Grady Jarrett. I think Anya is gonna be the one that's out.
I think with Grady's season that he's having, I think that they can sign him to a real team friendly
Yeah,
two.
I think they're gonna extend him to lower that cap number, and I think Anya is out of here though. I do believe Anya is probably gonna be gone.
Yeah,
Because
and they've drafted over that
yeah,
position at
because
this point in time.
you drafted two interior guys, and Rook does look promising. So I believe that Rook's gonna enter next year as a starter. Anya is gonna be gone, so we're gonna be able to recoup like maybe 10 or 8 to 10 million. I gotta go on Spot Track to look it up, but yeah, we'll be fine. I mean, the process of things sucks, but like if they truly didn't believe Penix was gonna be there and he was there, you can't pass up on the guy you believe is an elite guy. You can't.
So there was talk about him being the fourth pick of the draft, and I can't think of a time quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3, 4. It was odd quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3. So
I
like
mean, hell, it happened. It happened in the Trevor Lawrence draft. They went 1, 2, 3, and they thought we was gonna take Fields at 4.
they did. That's what I'm saying. I can't. It's very rare that they go 1, 2, 3, 4. Any position goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So like when they went, you already knew who one was going to be, and it seemed, I think Washington's very happy with two, right? And there was talk that Washington had Jaden above Caleb or whatever.
I
What?
mean,
Cool, whatever.
the
You knew
Falcons had
they were
Jaden
going
in
one, two.
one, so
Yeah, when the Patriots took um
May.
Drake May,
Yeah,
I think that changed a lot of the math for the Falcons. I think that changed a lot, and you don't know that going into the offseason, right?
what do you
That
mean
like
change the
teams
math?
are
Like, I don't think that changed anything
like
for him.
no, I'm saying in terms of like they truly did not think Penix would be there.
I mean, but I think hell, we knew Drake May was going number 3.
But you don't know that at the start of free agency.
At the start of free agency, you don't you no you know they're taking a quarterback.
You know they're taking a quarterback. You don't know they're taking that quarterback.
Yeah, but you knew quarterbacks were going 1, 2, 3. That was very clear.
And so I
So
think that
so I don't think that changes the math because you already knew 1, 2, 3 was going to be quarterbacks because they had these conversations at the
no,
combine.
they,
Because at the combine they had these
they had
conversations before the draft. Before
they had Penix rated that high. They did not think he was going to be there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't think they thought because they had him as their second ranked player, well, second ranked quarterback, fourth overall in the class.
That's why I'm saying once Drake May gets taken third, now you're looking like you don't know that in March when you sign Kirk.
Yeah,
So Drake May gets taken third. That's what I mean by like it changes the math because like now you're looking like, oh damn, like we may have our best player, fourth best player in the draft, fall to us at 8. Like, yeah, we had plans. Yes, Kirk was supposed to be X, Y, and Z, but like,
can't pass that up.
yeah, as much as I dislike some moves Terry has made, the one thing I will say takes massive stones, and I know it was him and Raheem and
Yeah, it
everybody
take
like
balls to
collective.
do that after you just paid Kirk. It take balls.
It takes some cojones, bro, and they pulled the trigger because a lot of teams will focus on what you signed and what you
Yeah,
did, and what Arthur Blank was right down there in the room right after. Everybody remember that? Like we can't memory hold that shit. Arthur Blank was right down in the
he was like, "So
room
walk me through
right
this."
after.
He said, "So
Right
walk me
after they
through why I just spent 180 million. Walk me through that."
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think he
like
knew the whole time though. Like I don't think there was any surprises with that.
no, and I feel like when you look at it, it's turning out to be the best thing in the world because had we been stuck with Kirk, one, I don't think Kirk would have played this bad if Penix hadn't looked good. And I think that leads to a point you was gonna make. I don't know if you want to do it now or you want
Oh
to go
yeah,
wait
we
till
can.
we
I
do
can
the
go and get it. I mean, I ain't got a problem repeating this shit. But yeah, it's just like because it's like there's been reports right that obviously since they made the announcement Penix was gonna be the starter. There's been reports that like Atlanta was kind of hiding Penix because they knew what they had. So it's just like if they know what they have, and Kirk sees them, he's like, shit, this dude kind of legit. So it's like once Kirk started playing bad, it's like that gets in your head because Kirk's been the top dog, or he's been in the position to be the guy that didn't have the expectation, or he never had no one breathing down his neck. So now when you got someone that's conceivably more talented than you breathing down your neck, you're trying to overcompensate and make plays or be overly conservative so you don't get benched. He tried to be over aggressive and let the more picks. And then the times where the picks started to pile up in fear of being benched, he tried to be under-conservative. I mean, super conservative. And it just kind of backfired on him. Like, it's hard to play. It's hard to get yourself out of a slump when you're worried about losing your job.
and that's 100%. I feel like it's a point that you made that like I honestly hadn't even thought about because like going back to his days in Washington, he was the underdog breathing down RG3's neck. Then you go, you play in Washington, you have some up and downs. They believe in you, they kind of don't. But I went back. Washington never drafted a quarterback higher than the third round when they were with Kirk.
Mm-mm.
The Vikings never drafted a quarterback higher than the third. No, they drafted Kellen Mond, who absolutely could not play,
Yeah.
but from Texas A&M. But that's the
Yeah,
highest they
but he's
drafted a
never had a
quarterback.
talented quarterback threatening him.
Yes, and I think this was the first time he actually started to feel pressure. And you know how they talked about like, oh, Kirk in prime time, Kirk in playoff games. He's really bad at handling pressure. He melts down and all this and that. I think the pressure he was getting this time was internal.
Yeah.
He was in the because like I remember talking to you after one game. It might have been the Raiders game or the Vikings, where I was like, bro, it looked like he's short circuited. You know what I'm saying? Like he is not processing. Is processing issues that you expect from younger players with the mistakes he's making right now. And like it makes sense now if like that's the pressure you were feeling.
Yeah.
Is that like it wasn't coming from outside or expectations or anything else. It's coming from you feeling like you finna lose your job.
Yeah. That's as simple as I could put it. Yeah.
And now I feel like I think a piece that people ain't talking about, the broadcast tried to like skate over it or whatever. Kirk has a no trade clause. Kirk is actively working against a team trying to trade against him, trying to trade for him. One is because he put some really bad tape out, so no team really wants to trade for him. That's one.
Well,
No team
I
wants.
think more so it just depends on the scheme that he goes to. But like Kirk constantly wants to be in control of everything. It is what it is.
Exactly. And so he's forcing their hand to cut him instead of letting him work out a
I mean,
trade. Unless instead of the team work out a trade, like now Atlanta is forced to cut him. Now, granted, a trade designation and a cut designation, I think the only difference is like a couple $1,000,000. We're
well,
still going to eat a lot of day.
no, because if we would have traded him, we would have only been responsible for 37 million. That's it.
Over the course of,
It-
yeah, no,
we would have
weren't
only
gonna.
took on 37 as opposed because they would have took on what 27 and we would have took on 37, or it might be the other way around. But they would have took some and we would have took on that, and then they would have just had the rest of the contract. We would have been off the hook
Yeah,
if we.
and it's pretty obvious that he's not going to work with a team on a trade. He's not, and like I'm not saying he's a bad guy at all. I'm not saying that, but like don't try to paint it in this rosy picture that like, oh, Kirk's just this team and
I
this
mean,
guy's
okay,
guy. Like
so well, like it's like at the end of the day, that is what it is. But I don't. I'm just appreciative that he's not letting that outside stuff affect what he's doing on the football field or he's in the locker room because he's still being supportive of Cousins. I mean, Penix, and hey, he still went out there and ran scout team. He didn't have to do that. He could
he did,
he could have acted like another quarterback they got benched and be like, oh, my knee hurt, let me go get it fixed.
and we went through that. Yeah, we went through that, which I get.
So,
I
so it's
get
like
1,000.
I'm not gonna knock him too much because like at the end of it's a business. It is what it
And I
is.
feel
Like,
like that, you're getting into him being in the business side of football.
hey,
You know what I'm
Kirk's
saying?
a great businessman.
Boy, he done got contract after contract. Hey, boy.
He's a great businessman. Like he's the only one to have multiple fully guaranteed. He had fully guaranteed contract before that was even a thing. Kirk Cousins walked so Deshaun Watson could lay on that massage table.
What did I tell you about us getting monetized, bro? What did I tell you about us getting monetized? That's
I
a
didn't say
goal
nothing
for
crazy.
2025. Man.
I just had a massage.
All right, y'all. That's the 30-minute. Hey, we gonna get out of here. Pause this week. All that good jazz. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been your boy Q City.
Your boy Ty Bravado.
We out.
Peace.